So thank you so much, Steve, for putting this together. We are very excited. This is an awesome event. It's nice to see a nice big crowd. And I have got a huge privilege today. I feel so incredibly honored to be able to interview these two powerhouse gentlemen. Let me first start by introducing our country leader, a man I've come to admire and respect so much. He leads our country with power, with kindness, with charisma, and a heart of gold. Our managing broker, principal of eXp Realty South Africa, Andrew Thompson.
Thanks very much, Lizna, and especially to Steve Johnston and his entire team and family. Danielle's here today. What a superb chance to be down here in Cape Town. Not only talking to you, our entire agent team, but our leadership team is here today. And what a privilege to have all our American friends and colleagues out here. Folks, I think you deserve a very big round of applause. It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Then, today, together with all of you here, we are making history. Since eXp Realty has come to South Africa and literally turned the real estate industry upside down on its head, making a lot of people nervous and a lot of agents very happy, we have got on South African soil someone completely phenomenal, someone innovative, a global industry disruptor, and at the first time in South Africa at an event, the one and only founder of eXp Realty, chairman and CNO of. So to all of our international friends, that song is very popular in South Africa with its Afrikaans. And the song says, "Captain, hoist your sails." Now, we've got our captain in the house today. We're extremely honored and excited. And I think you should give him another round of applause. I just looked, I haven't started the clock yet because I feel like I've got golden hour. 20 minutes is not enough for all the questions you want to ask. So first of all, I'm going to start with Glenn. And I said to Glenn yesterday, was the first time I met him, and I said to him, Glenn, I used to drive around in the car after I really understood the eXp model, and I would daydream about you because you're a genius. I can't believe what your mind came up with. It's phenomenal. So I would like to ask you, how did all of these ideas come about? Where did the company start with all of those thoughts? You came up something so disruptive and innovative, and where it is now.
Oh, well, thanks. It's great being here. How it all came about, I was a sort of an internet entrepreneur. I'd worked for America Online back in the early 90s. I had been a stockbroker, and there was a bunch of stuff there, but I was in sales and marketing and tech, and I'd started a .com in 1999 and cratered it by 2001, so I referred to myself as a bomber. I had some websites that I had at the time, and they were local websites for local communities that I had done up for the Chamber of Commerce in the local area. For whatever reason, they decided they were going to go a different direction. I was doing this sort of just my give back to the community, but I got these two websites with lots of traffic locally, and I said, well, I need to sell ads. So I tried to sell an ad to a realtor and he ended up wanting me to get licensed as a real estate agent. And initially, he asked me to get my license. I said, I don't want to get my license. Nobody makes any money their first couple of years in the business. That was my perception. And he said, well, what's it going to take? And I said, I don't know. Guarantee me $3,000 a month. So that was, and he said, fine. And I said, crap. So then from there, I said, I'm an internet marketing guy. I'm not going to do open houses. I'm not going to wear a realtor pin at the grocery store. I'm not going to talk to my friends and family. I'm just going to do this on the internet. And this is in 2002, and he said, fine, 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 and I was crap, because I actually wanted him to say no. I wanted him, but anyway, the cool thing about it is I got my license in 2002, and I'd come from a business background. And what I realized is I was being sold the idea that I owned a business, but very quickly realized that the business owned me, because as soon as I quit selling, there was no business. So that was the light bulb that went off in 2002. And then teams were getting a little bit popular in the States. They're not big here yet, I don't think, but they were kind of coming on. And so I was big on internet lead gen, so I said, how do we build a team? And partially because I was trying to get off of the hamster wheel, which is real estate. And then I realized that was just a lot more work. And for at least a couple of years, I said, if I really wanted to make money, I would have just stayed an agent. But I was a glutton for punishment. I started 6 real estate teams, not just one. And then in 2007, I'd been with Keller Williams for 3 years, so that was through 2007. And I really liked the premise of their model, which was they had a profit share system where they'd share part of the profit, but the profit share system doesn't work as well as the brochure said. And so I left Keller, and I said, if we ever do a company, we're going to do revenue share, not profit share. And I figured if you have at least a decent management team, they'd figure out how to at least break even. And as long as I was in the revenue share tree, which I am, I'm agent number 1, that I would be able to build the residuals that I wanted for myself personally. And but anyway, that was 2007. 2007, we had a great year as a team. 2008, we were on track to do about $100 million US in volume, which now that's not a huge amount, but back then that was almost unheard of. And then the second half of 2008 happened, and the whole housing market crashed. And so had to raise a little bit of money to get to 2009, and then literally it was like, how do I run a real estate brokerage profitably in a really bad market? The technical term that we used at the time is a market that sucked. And we said, well, the single biggest cost to run a real estate brokerage is the physical offices, the physical bricks and mortar. And the second biggest cost to run a real estate brokerage, and I'm sure it's the same here as it is in the States, is the staffing costs. And in 2009, the iPhone had just come out. We had now high-speed internet on our phones. We had high-speed internet a lot of times on our phones, in our homes. We didn't have to go to the office, because the office used to be the place where there was high-speed internet, so you didn't need to do that. So we said, why don't we build the real estate brokerage of the future? And then we just asked the basic questions: what would it take for me, as a top-producing real estate professional, to be willing to leave the safety of my physical office that I'm used to, that the industry is used to? What would I need to do to make it appealing to me? And so that's when we started to look at all the ingredients. I want to earn revenue share. I want to be part of the brokerage. I want ownership. And I said, okay, all these things were important to me. Then they're probably important to enough other agents. I didn't know what percentage, but enough other agents that we could actually have a business that would actually grow. So that was kind of the original. Started with 25, 30 agents back in 2009, and we've grown a little bit since then.
I would say it made sense to a lot of other agents. What you were thinking, you were talking to their hearts. Thank you so much, Glenn. Then Andrew, obviously our local story. Tell us a little bit how eXp started in South Africa, what did it look like, and where are we today, and where are we going?
Yeah, Lizna, I'm just going to start by just saying, you were our first 3 times cap agent here locally in South Africa, and I think she deserves a big... The second part of it is I'm sitting next to the most disruptive man in terms of real estate sitting right here next to me, and that is truly an honor. So I'm going to be a little bit disruptive here today because we got some very exciting news. And first of all, I'd like to just ask Johan Nolan just to stand up in the audience. Folks, we've got our first icon agent. And so an icon... So an icon agent is an agent that has capped at 150,000 Rand, has to have done 3 million Rands worth of sales across the country, obviously, and the ability to have possibly done 36 units or 35 unit sales as an individual. And just to put it out there, this gentleman is going to earn, with a little bit of additional work, 150,000 Rands worth of eXp shares, having done 36 unit sales in just 9 months. So to Johan Nolan, it's one of the most exciting days in my time because we make these announcements, but it's all about success. And we love having success amongst our agent team. And I just wanted to invite Johan up on stage, shake Glenn Sanford's hand, have a quick pic here with us. And Johan, I'm so pleased for you, and your family is here today to witness it as well. So thank you very much indeed. Well done. So folks, just to go on, and well done to Johan, and just to go on from what Lizna asked, we started this business some 3 years, and I think it's 3 months now ago. We literally got our license mid-December 2020. Started eXp Realty South Africa. I wished I was agent number 1 here in South Africa. I think I ended up being agent number 3, so I'm working for everybody in the room. I have no issue with that because we take an unselfish approach to how we grow and how we grow rapidly across this particular country. And just to show you the growth and the manner in which we've performed, we started out literally with 0 agents. We are now at 1,150 agents across the country. We've come from the 5,000th largest real estate company in South Africa. We're now sitting at number 7 in just under 3 years. So just to go on that, you've got to have agents in order to do listings, and you've got to have listings in order to get into production, and that's what it's all about. We're here to support the agent, and we want to be the most agent-centric real estate business, not only here in South Africa, but on the continent and in the world in terms of Glenn's vision. And it's all about the agent. It's about the success of the agent. It's about the training, the education. It's about the people, the family, the community. And that is what this business is really about. I've never had a better welcome into a company. I remember sitting with Glenn 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, walked into his office, and I must just mention, he's an absolute humble gentleman, full of integrity, full of trust, very strongly corporate governed through the NASDAQ with eXp shares, and he's managed this business in an excellent manner. But I do, just tongue-in-cheek, just want to say, Glenn, how could it take you 7 years to get to 1,000 agents in America? It took you a bit of time, eh? I'm just joking. And in such a big country, with so many agents, okay? So, no, just seriously, I've never had a better welcome into a company. And I remember leaving Glenn's office, all he spoke about was me, my family, about my career, about who I was, nothing about Glenn Sanford, nothing about eXp, and I admired that from that day. And I've never had a better journey within a company, and I know our agent team are experiencing a similar journey to that. And that's the reason why we've grown exponentially here in South Africa. We're proud to say we're the fastest growing real estate company in Africa. But also think about it. Javi Rousseau, my ops manager, he's done some statistics for us. We're the biggest lister in the Western Cape. We're the largest lister, James Conyers and team, in the Eastern Cape. We're number 3 in Gauteng, and we're starting to dominate every single province in South Africa from a listing perspective, but also from a production perspective. So it's all about the agent. And our leadership team of 15 here locally in South Africa, there's a number of our leadership team in the house here today. They also deserve a very big round of applause. Thank you. So Lizna, sorry, just to go on, I think what was really brought up a little bit earlier is we do want to be the biggest and the best. We do want to be the largest real estate company in South Africa. We want to be the biggest and the best in Africa in terms of our philosophy and our outlook from a real estate perspective, from a South African point of view. And we've got the ability to do that. So 2,000 agents by the end of this year is achievable. 4,000 agents by the end of 2026 is achievable. But just picture that being 10% or 15% of market share, how that is going to be game-changing for you within your own environment. And I hope you embrace it. I hope you enable it, because it's going to change your life and your family's lives going forward. So thank you very much indeed.
I just want to make sure we're recording this, right? Because I just need that snippet so I can play it to all my clients. That's the best brag session I've ever heard. I will never need to explain how cool we are at eXp. You just did it for us, Andrew. Thank you so much. You mentioned something, and I want to bounce that back to Glenn, where you spoke about being agent-centric. Now, as mentioned the other day in a meeting, I didn't even know the word agent-centric before I joined eXp. And I would love you to speak a little bit on the culture and how agent-centric it is and what that really means for now and also for the future.
Yeah, so agent-centric, I think about this whole idea that if you, there's a personal development gentleman, many of you probably heard of him. He's since passed. His name was Zig Ziglar. How many of you have heard of Zig Ziglar? Okay. So the phrase that really resonates with me is you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And there's a couple of things embedded in that. One is help, so it's being of service. The other is actually understanding what actually other people actually want. And if you put on the hat of a real estate agent, of course, and most of us have been real estate agents, there's a lot of very identifiable challenges that every single real estate agent deals with, but hasn't actually seen a solution to. And so, when I think about, the goal of being the largest in South Africa, my goal is not to be the largest. I think that's the end result. My goal is to be the most agent-centric, meaning that every decision we make is so agent-oriented that it'd be crazy not to join eXp Realty. Yeah, and we actually, I think it was back in 2016, I believe it was, we actually adopted a phrase from Jeff Bezos. Amazon talked about what he referred to as Amazon Prime, but in it, we rephrased it because we want the value proposition of eXp Realty to be so good that it'd be irresponsible to hang your license anywhere else. And so for us, it's always how do we go back and make it better? Most companies, like probably 95, 99% of real estate brokerages are all designed to maximize the profit and loss statement for the broker owner. And that means that it's not about the agent, it's about how do I make enough profit so I can go on the next vacation, I can do this, I can buy this, I can do whatever. When you, the ironic part of it is when you flip it on its head and you make it about the agent or the customer or what have you, it's actually way easier to have a strong balance sheet, profit and loss, than the traditional approach. And as logical as that seems, it's actually the opposite of how most organizations and businesses are oriented. And so for me, it's always about agent first. It don't need to make much in the short run, but if enough people jump on board, then everybody wins.
A round of applause. That is amazing. Jay and Ashley earlier said, and I mean, I only met you yesterday, Glenn, but they earlier mentioned that this is a gentleman that likes to help other people. His heart's in the right place, and that really resonates with me. And because I know you're so humble, it feels like unfair to say this to you in private. So from my family to you, thank you, because you've changed our lives. Then I would like to know, Andrew, you just bragged so nice about it. I loved it. I'm not teasing you. I loved every minute of it. It was very, very good. I would like to know, where do you see us in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's the future holding for us here?
You know, Lizna, with the caliber of agent we're attracting at the present moment, successful agents attract other successful agents. So you want good business people attracting other good business people. And I certainly learned from Jason guessing, in actual fact, a happy and a good agent attracts another happy and good agent. And if we maintain that culture, there's no reason why we can't go from the 2,000 to the 4,000 to beyond 4,000 really quickly. But I think we've got to be very selective, and we've got to be selective around influential people and good producing agents. And I think that is extremely important in terms of the makeup of our business, because we want people that are genuinely going to be successful, that are willing to collaborate with other agents, work with other agents, and adopt and enable themselves through the tools and the technology that we've got available to them. So most certainly the future of real estate, it's our slogan, but most certainly you'll get a feel the minute you join this organization. There's a rapid movement in terms of getting you geared, getting you into listings, into production, because we want you to be successful. And I think that is the most important aspect. So believe it or not, I'm on this journey with you. And I think everyone in this room, thanks Steve for this tremendous conference that you put together. It's built from last year to this year, and I've got no doubt you're going to have a full venue, 1,100 people here next year, especially if Glenn and the team that are here from America come out once again. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We're running out of time, but there's two things I have to do. First of all is thank you. I had this joke and we laugh about it often. They say, show me an entrepreneur and I show you someone that does not like authority. So we've had our jokes about this. Andrew is the most amazing person and I've got so much respect for you. I've been fortunate to sit on those SAR committees where we come and this is what we need and the agents are saying this and this is what can we do about it. And every single time the response time is amazing. You and your leadership team come back to us, they find a solution, and sometimes they take what we expected and they multiply and multiply on top of that. I remember my first year, I was so excited because when I joined eXp, I was like, sure, we're far ahead of anyone else. Good luck in catching up. And what happened in that first year was continuous growth in what we get provided in for agents. And that for me has been phenomenal because I just realized it's not that you've got the agents and now you're happy. You've got the agents and you continue growing and making it better and better and better. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, Lizna, I think Glenn hit the nail on the head. We want to be accessible. We want to be the most friendly, and I think Glenn said it at the beginning of last year. He said, throw away those budgets and just focus on Net Promoter Score, because if you've got a happy agent, the production will automatically come. So just really key in terms of our overall approach, and great learnings from an incredible man, an incredible leadership team, and so on. I didn't quite finish my story earlier, and I just wanted to wrap up very quickly. As I left Glenn's office, I got a message from him, and just remember, he's a Canadian gentleman living in the USA and other places around the world, and I got a WhatsApp from him saying, Andrew, thanks very much for joining eXp. Have a lekker day. How personal is that?
It's the captain. One last thing, and then we're done. I have to just ask Glenn about this. Glenn, there is something called House Hunter, and I would love you to quickly inform us a little bit and give us some insight in the room on that.
You know, I mentioned I come from a tech background and an internet lead background, and a number of years ago I saw a technology that was rolled out at one of the US conferences, and it didn't make sense in the US, and I automatically sort of clued into that. But one of the things that I've heard around the world outside of North America specifically is that the property portals tend to be very expensive. Is that the same thing here? Okay. And they kind of like are, well, they're charging obscene sums of money for just having properties on a website. And this is a problem around the world where there are no MLSs. In the US and Canada, there's multiple listing services, and it's actually easy to syndicate those and advertise those, and every real estate agent and brokerage will advertise everybody's listings on their websites. And so one of the things that I started to recognize is that it's, from a consumer's perspective, so I like this idea of putting on different hats. And I call myself a jaded consumer, I call myself a jaded agent, because I fundamentally distrust the standard institutions that are out there. And as a jaded consumer, I don't want to have to search multiple websites to find all of the listings. Would you say that's a fair statement? Okay. And you're not sure if you've seen all the properties that are available for sale on any single portal. I assume that's another fair statement. Is that correct? So one of the things, if that's a need, and there's not a good solution for it, and I don't know, all the solutions here, then could you create some technology that would allow a consumer to better keep track of all the places where real estate listings are at on the web, and then give them a convenient way to organize that and share it with their trusted agent in the process? And this is what homehunter.global, you can actually go to the website, homehunter.global, it's in its first iteration. We've got a couple more iterations coming out, but we licensed the worldwide technology for this, where your consumer can actually install a browser extension, so into Chrome or Edge or Safari, I think, but anyway, and also then keep track of all the properties and keep track of all the portals and see what's going on without having to go back to Property 24 or any of the other websites. They'll actually be there. And it'll actually give us a way to actually profile eXp listings for anybody using that browser extension. Even when they go to the major portals, it can actually help promote eXp as being the dominant place to actually search for homes. So this is a cool tech. It's early on. You can start using it right now in a consumer mode, but by mid-year, there'll be an agent to consumer piece, so you'll actually be able to connect consumers to it and start to share it out and keep your face, your profile front and center no matter where your client is searching for property. And that will be a great way to sort of keep you in the center of the transaction.
I love that, Glenn. Thank you so much. I'm going to make it my personal mission to champion that throughout South Africa and make sure every agent's telling their clients about this. Thank you for always staying innovative. Thank you for being here today, gentlemen. We're seeing more of Glenn tomorrow.